we present I'm Sorry I Haven't a Clue, a panel game, and your chairman tonight, Humphrey Lyttelton.
Hello. Well, the score at the moment stands at 483 to 13, so there's everything to play for. And here are your two teams for tonight. First team, Joe Kendall and Graeme Garden. And opposing them, John Cleese and Tim Brooke-Taylor. In this first round, I ask each team to sing a song, but singing alternate words. If anyone sings only 2 words, or half a word, or dries up altogether, or parts company with Dave Lee's accompaniment, then that team can salvage a point by doing it at twice the speed. Joe and Graeme, your song, please, is When I'm 64.
When I get older, losing my hair, many years from now, will you still be sending me a Valentine, birthday greeting, glass of wine? If I'd been out till 2:45, would you lock the door? Will you still need me? Will you still need me when I'm 64?
Joe Kendall fell at the last fence, so will you do it at twice the speed and see if you can get through it?
When I get older, losing my hair, many years from now, will you still be sending me a Valentine greeting of wine? If I'd been out till 2:45, would I lock the door? Will you still need me?
That was pretty good. 3 out of a possible 2. Now, Tim and John, your song is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Rudolph the... Hey, that's a bit fast.
It's been an objection.
Oh, well, come on. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose, and if you ever saw it, you would say all of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names. They never met poor Rudolph join in any reindeer games. Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, Rudolph, with your nose so bright, I won't you guide my sleigh tonight. Then on the rain...
It was longer than theirs, Uncle Hump.
You can redeem a mark by singing that at a...
There we go. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose, and if you ever saw it, you would even say it glows. All of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names. They never let poor Rudolph join in the reindeer game. Then one foggy Christmas Eve.
Two marks for that version, making the score 3-2 at the moment. Later on in the program, towards the very end of the program, I'm going to ask the teams to announce people with silly names to a particular function, and to give the players time to think them up, I'll leave it until right to the end of the programme before I ask for their silly names, but they are going to have to announce the late arrivals at the Stage, Screen and Radio Ball. Now we have the round word for word. I'm going to give each team a word, and they must immediately come up with another word which has nothing whatever to do with the word I gave them. The other team can challenge and try to prove a connection. We're going to start with John and Tim, and your word to start off with is jumper.
Bat.
Cucumber.
Strength.
Antediluvian.
Banana.
Crochet.
Stoat.
Umbrella.
Hair.
Toenail.
Boot.
Graham's challenge. What's your challenge, Graham?
Well, I think hairs and toenails are really connected, aren't they?
They're not collected, anyway.
Well, you'd be surprised.
Yourself.
Well, yes, I'll allow that one. Ooh. On the grounds that rhinoceroses' toenails are made of hair, I'm told.
Yeah?
Yes.
Absolutely true. Every word of it.
Any queries from listeners should be directed to the living world. Graeme, start off with bracket.
Hexagon.
Challenge from John.
Geometric terms.
Quite, exactly. 2 points.
And the next.
Now, one to Graeme there, because it's not a
right.
geometric. Bracket's an architectural term.
Well, algebraic.
John, you start then with refuse.
Refuse.
Challenge.
Refuse and refuse are connected. In what way?
They are, in fact, collected in this case.
Start again, John. Refuse.
Refuse. Steed.
Pardon? Steed. I said pardon.
Adidocokinetic.
Elephant's foot umbrella stand.
Stilton.
Crumpet.
Mice.
When in doubt. Walking stick.
Exercise book.
Tractor.
Cosmonaut.
Lynx.
Portuguese island of Macau.
Throat.
Puma.
Armchair.
Tome.
Love nest.
Vowel.
I'm going to stop that now because we've already run into the next programme. Like 10 minutes.
Has anybody heard?
9 to Tim and John for endurance, and 2 to Joe and Graeme for atrophy of the buzzer-pressing finger. And I think we'll go on. Oh, we'll give them one more. Joe, we'll let you start with the word smut.
Clock.
Pentameter.
Horse.
Duke. Duke of Wellington rode a horse.
Here.
Yeah, he rode a horse.
And he also had a horse that he called Norman.
Right,
He
Tim.
also had an elephant's foot umbrella stand. We didn't stop you.
Tim, will you start with the word giggle?
Trumpet.
Spoon.
Microphone.
Elf.
Elephant's foot umbrella stand.
Elephant's foot umbrella.
Repetition.
Different game.
No, we had that, it is. Yeah, I'll give you that point. We did have that 3 months ago. That makes the score now
Just because my vocabulary
very
is limited.
exciting. The next round is world records. This is where I'm going to read out a world record to each member of the team, but I'm not going to tell him or her what the record is for, and we will have 150 points for a correct definition and 1 point for anybody who gets anywhere near it. Tim, yours is the first world record, and it is 366 halfpennies, 26 sixpences, 17 threepences, 11 pennies, 4 shillings, total 424 coins, and the value £1, 17 and 5 pence in the old money.
It's a relief. I thought you were going to ask me to add them up.
I'll do that later.
Yes, I know that one, actually.
Yeah.
Can I answer it if I know it, actually?
Yes, yes.
Ah, pity I said that. It's in fact, sounding like Cluffy now, it's, yes, you know the astronauts on the moon?
Not personally.
Not personally. Well, and then I can tell you all about it. Speaking down to Houston, you have that beep. Well, that in fact are the pips on the telephone, and those are the coins they have to put in the telephone when the pips go.
You mean £1, 17 and 5 pence for 3 minutes, is it?
Isn't that right? Oh, don't think it's as much
No,
as
it's
3
more
minutes.
than that.
Yeah.
It's gone up. I'll give you 1 point for being within, well, I won't say within the same universe. Because in fact the answer is it's the most number of coins swallowed by anything other than an ostrich. They were found in the stomach of a 54-year-old man.
It had killed him, presumably.
No, it was his way of saving. John Cleese, your record is 9 Hebrew cubits.
Well, a cubit, as far as I know, is 4.5 inches, so 9 3 is 36, so 30 is 40 and a half, 40 and a half inches, so it is the greatest height ever reached by an Egyptian space probe.
Well, actually, you're not in the same universe, but I'll give you a mark for that for ingenuity.
Actually, it is the greatest height that has ever been jumped by an Israeli Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries without dislocating a hip.
It was.
That, yes, you get an extra mark.
Sorry,
last night.
Yes.
It has been
You
broken.
get an additional mark for that because I'm assuming that he jumped Og, the king of Bashan and Gilead.
Right,
yes.
right.
Because 9 Hebrew cubits is the height, or was the height, of Og, the king of Bashan and Gilead,
Dead right.
who is said to be the tallest recorded man, although it's computed on the flimsiest of evidence. It's based on the length of his
What did he
arm
record?
bedstead.
Because I didn't even know he was
On the length of his what?
Based on the length of his arm bedstead.
Oh, yeah.
But for all I know,
Wonderful what you can pick up just sitting in the car with the radio on. Yes, exactly, exactly.
for all I know, he and his wife may have liked to sleep sort of head to foot, so to speak. So I don't think it's a very good answer, that. But still, you get your 2 marks for that. Graeme, Garden. Your record is 160 million times from June 1948 to June 1956, a total of 8 years.
160 million times in 8 years. 365 days a year. It can't be that, surely. 160 million times. Yes, I know. It is, in fact, the newspaper stuffing record held by a man in Cleveland, Ohio. Is that right? Anyway, it is. And
The right continent.
he, in fact, stuffed 160 million copies of the Times into the ear of a live Thompson's Gazelle between those dates in the space of 8 years. Is that right?
I'm assuming that as a result of that, he then set up the longest recorded attack of hiccups. Is that right?
Yes, that's what I meant.
Well, you get your 2 marks.
I thought it was the Gazelle.
Yes, he was in fact not from Cleveland, Ohio. He was from Los Angeles. Jack O'Leary was his name, and he hiccuped 160 million times in an attack lasting 8 years. Of the 60,000 remedies that he tried, only one eventually worked. and you get an extra 15,000 marks if you can tell me what that is. But can't wait.
Death.
It was a prayer to St. Jude, the patron saint of lost causes. Right, Joe, it's your. You get 2 marks for that, Graeme. Because you were very, very close to it. Joe, yours is a simple one. 15,000 nudes.
It's all the members of the House of Commons, the House of Lords, the staff of Buckingham Palace, and the entire civil service without their clothes on.
Could well be, actually. Be interesting to see if it is.
I think the latest figure shows
Who, back in the year 1964, 1 year before it closed, visited the L'Île du Levant nudist camp. Is that right?
That's absolutely
Yes,
what I was thinking of.
Because this is the number of people in the world's largest nudist camp, which is the place I just said and can't pronounce again. It contained 15,000 naturists, and it was a nudist camp until 1965, when it was taken over by the French Navy for defense purposes.
Is that the bare facts?
Exactly. Now we have the round that's called misleading readings. Each team will be asked to perform a short scene from a well-known work, classic, and the other side must guess what it is. They're going to, naturally enough, perform it in disguised accents. Joe and Graeme, your reading first of all, please.
And Joe and Graeme's reading is from The Three Sisters by Anton Chekhov.
The audience now knows the answer. Joe and Graeme, away you go.
They called you Major for some reason or other.
Well, that's it, yeah.
That's the reading. Would you like a little more?
No, thank you.
No, that's fine.
Well, you're getting it.
The lovesick major, that's what they called him, eh?
In those days, you only had a moustache. Oh dear, how much older you look. How much older?
Yeah, well, I was still a young man in the days when they called me the lovesick major. I was in love with a different now.
But you haven't got a single grey hair. You've aged, yes, but you're certainly not an old man.
Nevertheless, I've turned 42, Is it long since you left Moscow? That's a clue.
11 years. What was the street you lived in?
In the Staraya Basmalaya.
How funny, we did too.
Get away.
Yeah.
That's the end, is it?
Yeah, you're telling me.
If we have a clue there, I think this is probably one of the earlier pieces by Stolnikayev or possibly Razmolnikov. What do you feel?
Yes, first time at Wembley.
Yes. I think he's going to be the sweeper up, and I think Chekhov's probably going to be one of the strikers.
I should think so,
Yes,
yes.
I think we'll put him down the middle and...
a little more attack, I think, is required inside. Yes. We reckon it's Russian. And because we don't know any others, we'd say Chekhov. Now we're pushed. It's not, as John says, seagulls over Sorrento.
No.
I'll give you a clue to the extent that I thought it was by Louisa M. Alcott.
Louisa M. Alcott.
Little cherry orchards.
The Seagull
Three
Women.
Sisters.
I tell after a bit of help, so you get 2 marks for that. And will you, Tim and John, give your reading now for Joe and Graeme?
Which is, of course, from William Shakespeare's Henry V.
Put off your maiden blushes about the thoughts of your heart with the looks of an empress. I am thine.
That is as it shall please the roi, mon père.
Nay, it will please him well, Kate. It shall please him, Kate.
Then it also content me.
Upon that I kiss your handing and call you my queen.
Laissez, monseigneur, laissez, ma foi, je ne veux point, am I boring you at all? Que vous abaissez votre candeur en baissant la main d'une de votre seigneurie. No way to get into the club market in the... Excusez-moi, je veux supplie mon très puissant seigneur.
Madame, my interpreter, what says she?
That is not be the fashion for the ladies of France. I cannot tell what is better on English.
To kiss.
Your Majesty entend better que moi.
It is not a fashion for the maids in France to kiss before they are married. Would she stay?
Oui, Raymond.
And that concludes the reading for this evening, ladies and gentlemen. There are sufficient clues there, we hope, for the right panel opposite to be able to guess both the play and the characters involved.
Joe, Kendall and Graeme Garden, can you identify that?
Yes, well, there was there some French in there somewhere?
No.
Not really, no.
No. Well, that was misleading at first. Otherwise, it sounded very like... does it come from the complete works?
Whose complete work? Whose?
Things.
You know,
Thing.
the Shakespeare one.
Oh, the Shakespeare, no. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Yes, William. William. It's his brother, William.
William Shakespeare.
Yes.
Shakespeare Brothers.
Now there's a clue, because they only wrote one play, the Shakespeare Brothers. It's a historical play, and it's one of the 5 Henrys in it, one of the 8 Henrys.
Make up your mind. Which? One of the
Fifth
5,
of
one
the
of the
8.
8. Which?
5th of the 8th, fair enough.
Henry the 5/8.
Just his hat.
I thought at one point this would become a historical program before we got the answer out of them. But anyway, it was in fact Henry V by Shakespeare, so you get your 2 marks. The score at the moment, I feel it incumbent upon me to tell you, that the score at the moment is to Tim Brooke-Taylor and John Cleese, 34, and to Joe Kendall and Graeme Garden, 37. So it's really become jolly tense. This next round is called tag wrestling. I'm going to give each team the tagline of a story or anecdote. I shall start off with one team who must tell a story ending in their tag, but when I press the buzzer, the story passes to the other side, who must work towards their finishing line too. If you have any idea at the moment about how this round is going to work, you're way ahead of me. The winning team is the one who reaches their tagline first. So we'll start with Graeme and Joe, and your tag is as follows. Goodness, said the cook, whatever is Roger doing hanging upside down in my nightie from the clock tower of Kuala Lumpur Town Hall?
There's Roger doing hanging upside down.
And John and Tim, you realize this means war, said the Archbishop, taking off his wooden leg and handing it to the first violinist. Joe and Graeme, to start the story off, please.
Right. It was a beautiful day in Kuala Lumpur as noon struck from the clock in the clock tower of the town hall. Cook was hanging out her washing when Roger, her boyfriend, crept up behind her and goosed
And said, Roger, what are you doing here? I thought you were still in England. And Roger said, I beg your pardon, took the first plane back to England. Back in England, he was marrying Nancy, a nice little girl who worked on the farm down in Somerset.
However, he was very unhappily married, so flew straight back to Kuala Lumpur, where the cook was again doing her washing, and he was so happy that he leapt into her nightie.
At this moment, a large coach came round the corner, being one of the coaches chartered by the extremely large ecclesiastical orchestra, which was making a tour of the Far East. amongst the very heavy complement of woodwind players and...
Look out, cried Roger, as the coach plunged into the river. Climbing up the clock tower. Still in the 90, he rapidly approached Cook once again, but unbeknownst to her, he slipped on a bar of soap. Oh.
Just in time to avoid the second bus load of Cleese. Drove up. Out leapt the Archbishop, wooden leg in hand.
But Roger ignored him, and as he was a campanologist, he climbed back up the clock tower in order to ring the bell. Seeing him at that moment, the cook said, "Goodness," said the cook, "whatever is Roger doing?"
The Archbishop, leaping out with his wooden leg in hand, with his wooden hand in leg, plunged to the fallen coach and pulled out all the violinists except for the first violinist, who was badly trapped between the dashboard and the rear wheel.
Interesting. Roger, seeing this, laughed so hard that he slipped off the clock tower. His nightie caught halfway down, and Cook, looking up, said, "Goodness me, what is Roger doing hanging upside down in my nightie from the clock tower of Kuala Lumpur Town?" Oh, yes.
I'll give that to...
merciful, if nothing.
Graeme and Joe, because they got very, very close to it on 2 occasions. Now, the time has come for me to ask the teams to announce their late arrivals. Let me remind you, these are the late arrivals at the stage, screen and radio ball.
Mr. and Mrs.
Pardon?
Starring Glenda Jackson. And their daughter, Elizabeth, starring Glenda Jackson.
Mr. and Mrs. Earth Island Disc, introduced as usual by Roy Plumley. And their son, Des, Earth Island Disc.
Mr. and Mrs. Otterswold and their son, Tom.
Lord and Lady Box Jury. And their son, Duke Box Jury. An elderly gentleman.
Mr. and Mrs. Roundabout. And their daughter, Madge. Roundabout.
How about the intellectuals, Mr. and Mrs.
Loaded.
Snee, and their daughter, Claire Snee.
Yes,
Where are the intellectuals tonight?
Very clever, very French.
rather short on intellectuals.
Who's
If we
turn?
have no-
Mr. and Mrs. Cording Studio and their son, Rick.
At this point, I'm going to tell you that the score is absolutely level pegging, with Joe and Graeme at 77 and Tim and John at 84.
So unless there are any further arrivals...
Mr.
Collided in the doorway.
David Jacobs and his good friend Annie, questions.
Mr. and Mrs. Abita and their son, Alf.
The time has really come to say that that's the end of this edition of I'm Sorry, I Haven't a Clue. And it's our thanks to the contesting teams, Joe Kendall and Graeme Garden. Who are leading by 1 mark, and John Cleese and Tim Brooke-Taylor. Who are leading by 3 marks. Dave Lee at the piano. And for me, goodbye.
That was Humphrey Lyttelton saying goodbye on behalf of Tim Brooke-Taylor, John Cleese, Graeme Garden, and Joe Kendall. Dave Lee at the piano, and producer John Cassels.